Nobody cares about you. Those words might sting at first. But listen, really listen, because this is the most liberating truth you might ever receive. For so long, I waited. Waited for someone to check in, someone to notice I was fading, someone to care enough to follow up. The silence pressed in. That message I sent? Forgotten, lost in the static. The story I wanted to tell? Unasked about, unmissed. And as much as it hurt, the moment I truly accepted that no one is watching or weighing me with the care I once imagined, everything, truly everything, began to shift. Here's something they call the spotlight effect. My mind, your mind, anyone's mind, really, is built with a design flaw. We believe we're being observed, scrutinized, judged far more than we actually are. Psychologists have been studying it for decades. We overestimate, constantly, just how much attention the world pays to our stumbles, our awkward pauses, our moments of weakness. I carried every misstep like it was a broadcast, every silent reply as a kind of judgment. I built a careful scoreboard in my head, believing others were doing the same. But the truth? Almost everyone else is lost in their own maze. Your friend forgot to follow up because they're drowning in their own worries. Your family repeats the same questions at gatherings because they're walled in by their own preoccupations. It's not heartlessness, it's the default setting of being human. We edit our highlight reels and bloat our blooper reels, each of us, mostly for an audience that isn't there anymore, maybe never was. And that's where the permission problem sneaks in. We wait, we hesitate, not because we're not ready, but because we're craving approval only we can give ourselves. Sit with this. Really sit. The answer was always ours, hiding beneath years of rehearsals for a show nobody bought tickets to. The performance continues long after the audience has left. Those safe choices, soft opinions, shelved dreams, they were not for us. They were to manage the invisible gaze of people more invested in their own storms. But every time we accommodate someone else's comfort zone, it costs us something hard to recover. That debt builds quietly. It shows up as restlessness or resentment, or a deep sense that something fundamental has gone missing. We decorate the cage and call it progress. But a beautiful cage is still a cage. One day you look up, and the life you're in isn't quite yours. It works, it functions, but it doesn't fit. Nobody decides one morning, today, I'll abandon myself for the crowd. It's a slow thing, built from safe options, ambitions turned down, edges smoothed, opinions swallowed, and real dreams sent into hibernation. The version of me the world gets, a careful, well-edited highlight, isn't fake, but it's not the whole picture. Somewhere in the edits is the voice with sharper edges, unfiltered intentions, a willingness to risk being misunderstood. And you, too, have this unedited self, waiting, not for greener lights, not for cosmic approval, but for you to stop checking every impulse against the invisible reaction of people who aren't paying attention. The theater is empty, the play is still running, and you're carrying chairs for spectators that left years ago. The rules: don't stand out, don't get loud, don't want too much. Where did they come from? Childhood, schoolyards, the early lessons written in our nervous systems. Being smooth and agreeable kept us safe. It made sense, but the rules stuck, even in a context where survival no longer depends on them. We're updating operating systems in a world that has already moved on, still optimizing for approval from people who have long since stopped paying attention. That's the real work. The only way to rewrite your code isn't through wishful thinking or self-help rhetoric. It's by acting, doing the very thing your old self would shrink from. That's the representative, and with each rep, discomfort fades. There are 3 shifts when you let go of the imagined gaze. 1. Decisions get faster. Without imaginary judgment, action comes naturally. 2. Failure loses its edge. If no one's keeping score, a stumble is just information, a step, not a sentence. 3. Honesty sharpens, not into recklessness, but into clarity. The unfiltered version emerges, and the world doesn't blink, mostly because it's absorbed editing its own reel. I care about people, I do. But caring isn't the same as outsourcing my choices. There's a line between genuine consideration and being quietly held hostage by someone else's expectations. If you're in your mid-20s, or even just remembering what that felt like, you probably know what I mean. Career moves not made, projects quietly abandoned, opinions swallowed, never aired, 1,000 small deaths by a crowd that no longer exists. We say we want freedom. We crave it. But the truth is, feeling free and being free are two different things. That in between, that gap, is where most people stall. The insight comes, the feeling burns bright, and before long, inertia pulls us back. If you don't intentionally replace the old routines, your brain fills the gap with new reasons to stay small. So, here's the move. Take a single thing, one project, one risk, one conversation you've been avoiding, and act on it. Not next week, today, or tomorrow at the very latest. The distance from insight to inertia can be measured in hours, not months. The ones who shift are the ones who move before comfort returns. What's the thing you've parked in the not yet lot? The idea you think about but never build on? The skill you mean to learn, or the version of yourself, a little louder, a little truer, you've kept in hiding? That person doesn't need a green light from anyone. The people whose work resonates, who build things that matter, who speak what needs saying, they never waited for permission. Most people aren't as invested in your outcome as you think. They're lost in their own labyrinths. And yet, everything depends on stopping the cycle of seeking approval from the wrong people for the right things. You already know what you want. You have known for a long time. It's never really about information. It's about whether you'll move, or wait for a signal that is never coming. Here's the toughest bit. Past failures become the favorite excuse. Every idea that didn't fly, every opportunity that fizzled, it all turns into a prediction about what comes next. But your record isn't fate. No one else is keeping score. Everyone is too consumed to tabulate your disappointments. Failing isn't the problem. Treating each attempt as a warning sign is. Your scars become reminders, not evidence against you. They're clues. Every round you stay in, you get tougher, truer, more alive. Hesitation has a price. Not a bill you can see, but a silent cost, like compound interest running backwards. Every year spent waiting is a year without feedback, the kind only the real world offers. The version of you want, the one that emerges on the other side, is only accessible through the attempt. You build it, not by preparing or planning, but by doing. And that's not about pressure. I'm not here to guilt trip you. The truth is, the life you're building at 30 is being assembled right now by what you choose, or refuse, to start. Every month you spend in decision limbo is a month you'll never get back. Just something honest, not a warning. Something shifts the moment you drop the performance. You don't lose people, at least not the right ones. Authenticity has a gravity all its own. Instead of shrinking your circle, it clarifies it. You pull in 2 or 3 people who see you, really see you. Real connections require showing up honestly, not just filling mutual roles. That's worth more than 20 shallow bonds built on mutual accommodation. And if things get quieter, that's okay too. A life that fits the shape of you, built in honesty, beats any elaborate performance played for an absent crowd. All those things not yet, have sat there for months, maybe years. The conversations rescheduled in your mind, the goals you orbit but never land. Most of that inaction is held in place by the memory of people who simply aren't watching. In your 20s, especially, every choice echoes into the next decade. The world is split wide open, even if it doesn't always feel like it. The rule keeper in your head, the voice polished for safety, never stops making a case for stalling. But every day, you decide where your energy flows. Parents want safety, not necessarily your fulfillment. Old friends want comfort, sometimes more than growth, because your risk reminds them of their own standstill. Imagined critics are too busy saving face to spare much thought for yours. Nobody gets a vote on what you build except, maybe, the next version of yourself. Make mistakes, speak up, launch things that might not float. The only audience that matters is the one paying with attention, not judgment. You've worried for too long about an audience that left the room long ago. Your life isn't on hold. It isn't pending approval. It's happening, right now. The freedom you ache for was never in anyone else's hands. It's yours, in the smallest choices, the conversations you stop ducking, the risks you stop tabling for later. This isn't about drama or grand dares. True freedom enters quietly, in the way you say the honest thing, in the way you stop asking if the world is ready for you and make yourself ready for the world. My friend, you already know the way. The performance isn't you, it's the mask. Stop waiting for permission from people who were never meant to give it. This is your time. Make it count.